Thanks for coming to the third annual Stand Up and Speak Out event against domestic violence. We love you all, and we're so grateful for your presence. It means the world to us. This is our third year walking and standing for a cause, domestic violence, for all those who have survived, who we've lost, and who are still living through the domestic violence experience, the sickness. When I say love, you say doesn't hurt. Love. Doesn't hurt. Love. Doesn't hurt. When I say stand up, you say speak out. Stand up. Speak out. Stand up. Speak out. When I say love, you say doesn't hurt. Love. Doesn't hurt. Love. Doesn't hurt. Speak out. Stand up. When I say stand up, you say speak out. Stand up. Speak out. Stand up. Speak out. When I say love, you say doesn't hurt. Love. Doesn't hurt. Love. Doesn't hurt. We would like to get started and open up with the song from our lovely and beautiful Shavonna Patterson. Let's welcome her.
The room grew still as she made her way to Jesus. She stumbles through the tears that made her blind. She felt such pain, some spoke in anger, heard folks whisper, there's no place here for her kind. Still on she came, through the shame that flushed her face, until at last she knelt before his feet. And though she spoke no words, everything she said was heard, as she poured her love for the master from her box of alabaster. And I've come to pour my praise on him like oil from Mary's alabaster box. Don't be angry if I wash his feet with my tears and dry them with my hair. You weren't there the night he found me. You did not feel what I felt when he wrapped his loving arms around me. And you don't know the cost of the oil in my alabaster box. I can't forget the way life used to be. I was a prisoner to the sins that had me bound. And I spent my days, poured my life without measure into a little treasure box I thought I found. Until the day when Jesus came to me and healed my soul with the wonder of his touch. So now I'm giving back to him all the praise he's worthy of. I've been forgiven, and that's why I love him so much. And I've come to pour my praise on him like oil from Mary's alabaster box. Don't be angry if I wash his feet with
beautiful. Let's give her a round of applause one more time. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, next we will have our lovely poet, Miss Patrice, come and bless us with the selection. Let's welcome her.
So this poem I start off all the time. I gotta give praise. Every day I give high praises to my God. See, I'm not afraid to give thanks, even when it seems hard, 'cause He keeps me. He keeps me in the midst of it all. Knees may get weak, but never do I fall, only left standing taller than the last time. This may be my last time to show appreciation for His dedication and grace. He always seems to amaze me. See, my God is amazing, so I give glory with my face to the ground. My hallelujahs ring out, and I'm never doubting His promises. I promise to only trust Him, 'cause when the lights get dim, He brightens the righteous path. And sometimes my walk don't last, but the last thing I remember is His mercy. See, my God will never hurt me or let me stray away too long. See, a change gon' come. A change gon' come. A change gon' come, and I know it will. Gotta keep my mind at ease so that peace keeps me still. Doing His will gives me the ultimate fulfillment. So they could go on with the negative. I can't hear it. I'm not listening. Too busy fighting with this gift. Lifting spirits and mending broken hearts. See, I'm jump-starting souls with the messages I expose. They say many are called, but only a few are chosen. And I'm His soldier, holding down the fort, golden compass in hand. Right direction is north, forward marching with His plan, saying, I'm so bad, I can make the devil say, Jesus. And no, I'm not religious. I just live in the spiritual realm. Got my own interpretations and reasons to shout. See, I got this life only for a little while, and I've laid down the foundation for my relationship. Not made for debating or definition. This life that I'm living, I owe it all to Him. So I put my best foot forward, rather sink or swim. I'm trying to live in God's memory. I can't focus on them. I got that sweet, sweet victory. I already know I'm a win. With pad and pen, there's no other way for me to say thanks. But time's a wasting. So with both hands raised, I give Him the highest praises. Thank y'all. I'm so happy that you guys allowed me to be here. My mother is a survivor of domestic violence. I won't say that she's completely got out of that mental state, but she's making it. This next poem, it's something I wrote for young girls, but what I found as I was doing is that a lot of adult women were getting a lot out of it as well. So, can I share it with you guys? Yeah. Okay. Hey, young girl, has anyone ever told you you mean the world to me? Not just to get in between those legs, but really mean it. You mean the world to me. 'Cause one day you'll be a queen, and baby girl, the world is gonna need you. Right now you can't see your future as I do, 'cause mom's an alcoholic and she beats you when the Hennessy kicks in. And I know it's hard to pretend that daddy really cares, 'cause his white girl is always there, lined up for him whenever he needs her to. While he creeps into your bedroom at night, touches you in places that light can't shine. You want to scream, but instead lie there crying, one fist balled and the other one clutched tight to sheets. Wishing it a dream, it seems your soul dying with every thrust. Daddy never realized his bust nuts, can't say that part, disrupts your inner being. Now, Mom, she sees this, but her bottle makes reality easier to deal with and swallow. Beating you 'cause she's left to wallow in her self-pity. You're all she wanted to be, and it hurts. And she can't protect her one and only baby girl 'cause of envy and insecurities. Still, she weeps from her mother's beatings, but baby girl, you mean the world to me. Cause I can see your desired dreams and aspirations, and I know it's hard to find that motivation when you're feeling empty inside. Seeking love from any guy that says you're beautiful. I'll always be there for you. Knowing they never cared for you like those Vicky Secrets, walked over deeming you as their doormat. The fact is, you never knew your self-worth, but I know you're worth it. I know you deserve it more than just the big button curves with legs that never close when you need their validations, your clothes coming off. More than just a pop-up chick, or the one to wrap up and knock up quick, leaving you a baby's mama, 15, no high school diploma, in that order, but the church say the devil is a lie. You're getting ready to spread those wings, should have killed you when the chance arrived, because my mission is to make sure you're flying high past the expectations they were waiting for you to fall. But baby girl, you mean the world to me, so you must transition into that queen, because now the world needs you. Hear the testimonies of how you made it through the cracks of concrete where rose was created and death was called upon your name. Then I came to say, you can't stay here. No time to live in fear, can't hold on to resentments. No need to worry about the ifs, ands, or buts of it. You're God's vessel now. Jumping hurdles of pain, reaching out for your crown, teaching other broken ones not to lie down and stay down. You have the ultimate power. Trust I've devoured it all just to spit it back up for you. Believe what I'm saying is true. They couldn't be what you needed them to. Deep inside wanted to be there for you, but sick mentally and really needed help. But you can rise above it all and motivate yourself with God on your side. You don't need nobody else. You'll be a queen and all your dreams will come true. Just listen to me. I love you. I'll always be there for you. You mean the world to me. And now the world needs you. That's it.
Thank you. Beautiful energy. Thank you, Queen. Next, we're going to be graced by our guest speaker, Miss Dion. Can we welcome her?
Hi, I'm Dion L.C. Walker. I am grateful to be here and very grateful that I've been asked to share. I want you guys to be a little patient with me. This is my first time telling this story on this platform, so I don't even know how to begin, and I know I need to be brief and not monopolize. I will start by saying I did not witness physical abuse growing up. However, I did come from a dysfunctional home. I grew up with an alcoholic father. So I witnessed verbal and emotional abuse in that sense. My story escalated, I should say, at the peak in my early 20s when I met my son's father, towards the last year of undergraduate school. And I justified the emotional and verbal abuse, mental abuse, by defining that as maybe cultural differences because he was Honduran. And things began to change the moment I got pregnant. You know, all of a sudden I was supposed to be this different person, and I was constantly criticized and compared to other women from the past. I wasn't good enough as a mother. I wasn't good enough as a woman. I wasn't good enough as a lover. I wasn't good enough for anything. You know, everybody else was better than me. And the first physical, I guess, attack happened the night of my graduation, which he didn't even attend. You know, I came home after celebrating after graduation. You know, we get in this argument. I guess I wasn't supposed to celebrate after graduating. Needless to say, I was a single mom, which I was convinced to be when I got pregnant, because I am for a life, for a choice. Let me just say that. You have the choice to decide anything, and I don't regret my son whatsoever, but I don't regret him, you know, at all. It was a time in my life I probably would have made a different choice, but I'm grateful that I didn't, and he was a part of me not making a different choice too. A lot of promises that never happened. So I was a single mom, full-time student, you know, trying to make it with this child. So yeah, I wanted to celebrate. I was on like a 6.5 year plan. So I was real grateful to graduate. You know, I had taken off school a couple of times, one for academic probation. Then when I finally figured it out how to be a college student, then I had to take off for pregnancy, you know, because I wanted to nurse my son as long as I could. So I had something to celebrate, and that night was the first night he slapped me because I wouldn't shut up. We kept arguing about why I didn't come home, why I was late, and it was only maybe about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I only really made it to about 2 parties, if that many, because you spend the first time with your family, you know. So went through all of that drama, kept telling me to shut up. I didn't, and he slapped me. My best friend was with me at the time, and so she snapped out. You know, she's grabbing things. She's like, "You're leaving," and we go to the hotel where my mom and my family is because they're leaving, you know, the next day. And it was a big uproar. You know, my mother, everybody came back to the house to kill this man. And it was ugly. And I stayed, and they left. During that time, there was also a lot of drugs and alcohol to play into that. During that time, I had graduated now. You know, I'm trying to do this thing in a very crazy house, and I have someone constantly telling me, "Don't nobody else want you but me," because now you got a baby, you got this, you're used, you all of that. You know, so a lot of my peace and comfort came from alcohol and drugs. At the time when I was trying to get it together, because I'm trying to figure out a plan on how to lead this man and take care of my child, here I am with now a bachelor's degree in science. I couldn't go to graduate school at that time. I didn't really take advantage of internships, so I didn't have any work experience. So I ended up with a job, I think, paying about $5 an hour, and I was grateful. I was happy. I was trying to figure out how to get away from him, and I had this plan on how much it was going to cost. At that time, I was down south. Living in New Orleans was pretty cheap, you know. So this $5 an hour was going to get me a nice little apartment, you know, for me and my son. However, I still had this man telling me that I couldn't do anything, and every time he got angry, he would slap me because I wouldn't shut up, because I was constantly back at him, you know, what he said. And I never really fought back. At one time, I would throw things at him and leave, and I would leave and go to the bar. That's what I would do, or do whatever I needed to do. When I was trying to get sober, he was not supportive to that, and when he found out that meetings had men in them, he wouldn't take me anymore. So I had to figure out how to get to my meetings, you know, and things like that. I like to say that I became a survivor July 15th, 1995, because that's when I became a member of a 12-step program with it. And when I finally, it happened several times. It began to happen in front of his family, and no one would say anything. It began to happen at parties. You know, I'd be ready to go, and people would just see it and keep on doing what they're doing, okay, and nothing else, and I would just leave, storm out very embarrassed. I finally left and came back to Chicago to start over. And it was only then that I was able to somewhat share my story, because it was in an environment of other women like me, in a sense, who probably, I would say, my experiences could not measure to some of the other experiences of the women that I heard in my life, but it gave me the courage to be able to share those things. Right now, I feel like I'm looking for stuff to say now, but that's pretty much my story. He continued to kind of control me 1,000 miles away by using my son as a pawn. And that was very hard. It took a while to do that, and I lost custody of my son during the maybe first 2 years when I came back here fighting over him, and that was kind of crazy. And you talk about having emotional unmanageability and crazy yourself, because I was trying to figure out how to put a violation on him. I wanted him dead because I couldn't understand how they would give this man custody of my child. And at the time he was not even a citizen. He had dual citizenship. And because of the state we were in, Louisiana's under common law, I couldn't find even an attorney that would switch jurisdiction for me, because they like, oh, Louisiana, oh yeah, that's kind of hard. So it took a while to come from under the control, even 1,000 miles away from him. And the moment I feel like I did was the moment I began to accept all of who I was and be okay with myself. The honesty of the things that I had done, the honesty of what I was as a mom, as a parent, as a daughter, as a sister, as an auntie, just who I am as a woman, as a friend, and learn what that really looked like to begin to love me. And he could no longer hurt me with the things he said. I was forced to still be in a relationship with this guy because of my child, but I wasn't forced to be subjected to any of his abuse anymore. That at that point I knew I had choice and I had support around me. And they're fine. That the healing began. And it became a measuring stick of what I knew I did not want in my life anymore, and I did not have to settle with. And also I want to say, too, I lived with a lot of fear of being alone. And I had to get to the point where I wasn't afraid to be alone anymore, that if that was my story, for me not to be in a relationship, that's all good, too. And thus began that spiritual journey of even my idea of God. I grew up in a church all my life. I had much religion, but I had no relationship. So once that understanding came to, and I could build on what God meant to me and what that relationship looked like, I began to make better choices. And having, again, I must say, women in my life that were real, and were not afraid to share and talk, and I wasn't afraid to share who I was and, of how they may judge me or think about me and things like that. So, thus, that's my story. Thank you for allowing me to tell it and be here. Thanks.
Can we give her a round of applause again? All right, we have another guest speaker, Miss Nicole.
Thank you. This is actually my maybe third time sharing my story, twice today since this actually happened. I was married and I had a fairy tale wedding. I mean, the big beautiful dress, the ring, the tiara, bridesmaids, you name it, it was beautiful. I loved it. And my ex-husband now, he started getting possessive. I couldn't go get my hair and my nails done unless he went with me and sat in the chair next to me. I couldn't communicate with people. I couldn't take him to the neighborhood that I grew up in and introduce him to people without hugging people, without him saying, "You slept with my wife? You know my wife?" I was going to school because I wanted to further my education. So I would go to school on Monday nights after work. He would literally sit in the parking lot or drive around my building where I worked until my boss would say, "You got to talk to your husband. He's frightening the other people that work here." When I would go to school in class, I did online classes in class. He would literally sit outside the classroom door on the floor to see who I was talking to in class. "How did you get an A in that class? What did you do?" I'm smart. That's what I did. I studied. I did my homework. He then began to start attacking people because he thought that I knew them. He would come at me. He would verbally abuse my children. He kept me away from all my family, all my friends. If my phone rang, who is that? Give me your phone. Let me see that. It got to a point I didn't know what to do. I lost my job. I could not focus on my school work. I got kicked out of school because he wouldn't leave the building. I studied criminal justice. My father is a retired Chicago police officer. He told me, baby, be careful. Daddy has your back. He said, I'll tell you this. I know that you have a gun card. You know how to use your own firearm. I will come and get you out of jail if you are in the right. He said, but if you don't have to do it, don't do it. My main focus was my children. At that particular time, I had an older son that was away in college. He wasn't even in this state. I had 2 younger children who are now 17 and 14, and they witnessed this. They went through things that I'm still finding out today that I never knew they witnessed or that they went through. I thank God for bringing me to it. He made me feel as though it was all my fault. You did this. This is your fault we're going through this. I did everything that I could possibly imagine to make it work. And when I got to the point where I said I don't know what to do, I tried to commit suicide. I'm not supposed to be here today. God is so good.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
I should not be here sharing my story with anybody. But I thank God for the women in my church. I went to church and I asked my pastor to help me. He talked to me. We even went to counseling, and he would get into church and he would be a completely different person. But you know, they say the devil will sit in church and be the best Christian that you can ever see. And we would get outside of church and he would flip change just like that. When I got out of the hospital from trying to commit suicide, the first thing he would say is, well, I'm going to work. When I get out of work, you better be at home. And I was still in the hospital bed. I said, okay. I went to church that Sunday. And at this time, he was leaving when he felt like it, coming back when he felt like it. And I wanted to make my marriage work. I was trying to be that wife. That's all I knew. I needed to make it work. Went to church and I cried through the whole service. And my pastor kept looking at me because why? My husband didn't show up. The ladies of the church gathered me in the back of the church and they said, okay, ladies, let's hold hands and pray around this sister. And that's what they did. And I felt something come out of me that it hurt my stomach. When I left church, usually I would go look for him. I had no desire to go look for this man.
Amen.
I felt completely different.
All
I
right.
went home. I got a plan. I found me a new job.
All right.
I found me a new place way out in Woodstock, Illinois.
All right now.
Found my kids a new school. He went to work, and I went to my new home.
All right now. All
That's
right.
my story. That's my story. Thank you.
We have another guest speaker, Miss Yolande Henry. Please welcome her.
Hey everybody. Good afternoon. I apologize for being late. One thing when you come out as a survivor of anything sometimes is some things are not always quite the way they were. Mine is memory and timing. So, but I eventually get there. This is my 3rd year enjoying this event and being thankful, especially for the reason of why we do it. And just quickly, I'm not going to go into all this because what I've been doing for the last 6 years ago, I lost my daughter and my granddaughter due to domestic violence. And ever since then, you know, before I didn't realize that I had been. I did realize it, but I always kept it secretly. I was married to a man for 25 years, raised kids like yourself, had the perfect big house, 3 cars, you know, don't have to work if I don't want to and all that. But in doing that, I realized I was raising my daughters and my son to be victims of domestic violence as they grew older. And not that I ever say that it's my fault of anything that happened, but when you have children, the children are also victims. And they can't become survivors until you become a survivor. So that's the importance of why we have to know, for one, what domestic violence is. Most of us are in situations and we see it as normal because either we came through that cycle or that's what we know. And then we teach that to our children or to our family members. And that's how it creates another cycle. So, getting short here. Basically, like I said, it's important for us when this month comes along. The other day, I was just riding down the street. I had to go pick up my grandson. And my grandson goes to a school which is right next to the house where my daughter last lived. And for 6 years, I was able to do that. But that particular day, I sat in the car and I couldn't get out because I figured, you know, am I not doing enough? Am I not making, you know, I get mad when October comes around and I walk and I see pink. And I'm not mad because of that, because I have family members and I have very close friends who are breast cancer victims, but they also have been domestic violence victims. And sometimes their lives were not extended long enough because, you know, when you're trying to heal yourself, you have to be healthy all over. And when you're dealing with the situation where you're being hurt physically, emotionally, you can't heal. So they end up losing their battle very early. And when you're in a domestic violence situation as well, if that is not being treated as it is a sickness or an addiction, because we can know it can feel like that. You've been in it and you like a junkie going back to that man or that situation because you just can't stop. You want to keep getting that one-time good feeling, but you know the overall part is going to be bad. So together, we can all keep awareness going. We can teach other people. We can make legislation. And just reach out. You know, we have to keep this going. And I appreciate these 2 ladies. And where are, I'm sorry, where's her daughters? There you go, okay. Okay. And I just love you guys. I love you for doing that, you know. Side note, Keith told me to tell you all hi. He couldn't get here because he had the grandkids, so thank you all.
All right, thank you all for coming out. I just want to say a little piece of my mom's story. I lost her 3 years ago due to domestic violence. Before that, she was with my father for over 30 years, who abused her the whole time. She got out that relationship because my father passed. But after that, she got really lonely. And because she hadn't fully healed from that relationship, she ended up finding a man just like him. She was with this man for 6 months, and the relationship moved very quickly. And basically, he was a murderer. He was in jail for 10 years for murdering someone else, and he got out. And he murdered my mother. He's still free on the streets today. The last the detective says is that he got out of a homeless shelter. So he's still walking the streets of Chicago and can do this again to someone else. And what I want to say today is that the way I was brought up was whatever happens in my house stays in my house. And it shouldn't be that way. We all need to be there for each other, for our sisters. We all sisters, you understand? And I could very well fight this with the Chicago Police Department. I could fight this with the detectives, but right now I'm fighting this today, right here with this. I'm fighting this for my mom. I'm fighting this for everybody that's standing right here with me today, okay? So I want to thank you again.
thank you for coming out to help me honor my mom. And before I get off this, I know Tasha timing me. Before I get off this, I just want to say something to my dear friends I've been friends with for 17 years. And I take it back because they not my friends. These are my sisters. Okay? My sisters called me up after my mom passed and said, V, I got an idea. Let's do this walk. Let's tell your mom's story. And I thank you. So I just want to honor my friends. Mia, can you come here for a second? Can I get Tasha up here? Can I get Kawanda up here? Can I get Yo-Yo up here? Because I just want to take a minute to say thank y'all. I love y'all. Y'all everything to me. Yo-Yo.
But today we have 3 lovely young ladies who we're going to give awards to for getting out of the situation. Thank God. Thank God. Okay. And realizing that love does not hurt. God loves us eternally through all of our flaws. Don't matter what we have going on, he continues to love us, and we should treat ourselves that way as he does. So we'll do the first recipient, which is going to be Mrs. Gabby. Where's Gabby? Hey. Hey. Woo. Survivor, beautiful. Hey.
Thank you, babe.
Thank you. We love you.
The next beautiful recipient of the Strength Award is Miss LaShandria Powell. Hey, little shiny.
Come on, give me a hug too.
What year is Mia's? This is her what year, you know?
I think it's nice. And our last but beautifully not least, we have a young lady who we have been close with, and we are celebrating. Is it your 9th year? Fourth year of survivorship. We're going to represent for Miss Mia So once again, we thank you. We know we went a little over, but it was well worth it. Thank you, everybody. We're going to do one last balloon release for everybody and the families, and let's head over to the lake, and we're going to wrap it up and head back.
I just can't give up now. I've come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. Never said there wouldn't be triumphs. Never said I wouldn't fall. Never said that everything would go the way I wanted to go. But when my back is against the wall and I feel our hope is gone, I'll just lift my head up to the sky and say, help me to be strong. Oh, I just can't give up now. I've come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me.
Okay, on 3, we're going to have a moment of silence, then we're going to release. 1, 2, 3. Survivors, release. Okay, let it go. Look up on the air. My camera guy. Look, yours is far away.